The radio played everywhere in the 70s. In cars, in kitchens, in bedrooms late at night. You couldn't escape it, and sometimes, tucked between the disco beats and love songs, came something that made you stop cold. Something that shouldn't have been on a station your parents let you listen to. Something that stuck with you long after the music stopped. These are 15 songs that traumatized kids from the 1970s. Number 15. Timothy by the Boys, 1971. The song came out in January 1971 with a cheerful melody. Kids sang along in the back seat without really listening. Then one day, you paid attention to the words. 3 miners get trapped underground after a cave-in. Only 2 survive. The third one, Timothy, disappears. The narrator wakes up confused, his stomach full, unable to remember what happened. Nobody ever found Timothy. Songwriter Rupert Holmes wrote it deliberately to be controversial. He needed a hit for the boys. He crafted something radio stations would ban, knowing the controversy would make people want to hear it. The result was a peppy tune about cannibalism. Radio stations played it because it sounded good. Then program directors actually listened to the lyrics. Some banned it. But competing stations picked it up. The song peaked at number 17. Kids who figured out what it meant felt sick. The record label tried to claim Timothy was a mule. Holmes publicly contradicted them. They ate him. That was the whole point. Number 14. Alone Again, Naturally, by Gilbert O'Sullivan, 1972. Gilbert O'Sullivan's voice was pleasant. The melody was light, almost bouncy. Then you heard what he was actually singing about. The song opens with a man standing at the top of a tower, planning to throw himself off because his bride left him at the altar. The cheerful music makes it worse. Then he remembers his father's death, how his 65-year-old mother couldn't understand why the man she loved was gone, how she died soon after from a broken heart. And when she passed away, he cried all day. Alone again, naturally. The song spent 6 weeks at number 1 in summer 1972. It sold over 2 million copies. Kids heard it constantly. At grocery stores, on car radios, at the dentist's office. That bright melody playing while a man sang about planning his own death. The song taught a generation that sad things could hide behind happy sounds.
I remember I cried when my father died, never wishing to hide it.
Number 13. Seasons in the Sun by Terry Jacks, 1974.
My friend, it's hard to die.
Terry Jacks had a thin, trembling voice that made him sound young. The production was soft and pretty. Strings, gentle guitar, a melody you could hum. And underneath it all, a man saying goodbye before he dies.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
The song was an English adaptation of a Belgian song about a dying man. Jacks rewrote the lyrics after his friend Roger was diagnosed with acute leukemia. Roger died 4 months later. Jacks dedicated the song to him.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
The narrator says farewell to his childhood friend. They climbed trees together, learned their ABCs, skinned their knees. He tells his father goodbye. He says goodbye to Michelle, who gave him love. And he keeps repeating that it's hard to die when all the birds are singing in the sky. When spring is in the air. When pretty girls are everywhere.
Bye, Papa, please pray for me.
The song hit number 1 in March 1974 and stayed there for 3 weeks. It became the second biggest song of the entire year. It sold 14 million copies worldwide. Kids heard it at roller rinks and school dances. They sang along without thinking about it.
But the hills that we climbed were just seasons out of time.
Then one day, maybe years later, they actually listened. And they realized they'd been singing about death since they were 7 years old. About watching spring arrive and knowing you wouldn't see another one.
We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun.
Number 12. Billy Don't Be a Hero by Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods, 1974.
Billy, don't be a hero, come back and make me
The fife and drum opened the song like a parade. The melody marched along cheerfully. Kids loved singing the chorus. Then Billy died. The song tells the story of a young soldier's fiancée begging him not to volunteer for a dangerous mission. "Don't be a hero," she pleads. "Keep your head low. Come back and make me your wife." He marches off anyway. Later, she receives a letter. Billy died a hero. Exactly what she begged him not to do. The song was written by British songwriters during the Vietnam War era. Though the Civil War imagery confused people, the lyrics didn't quite fit any specific conflict, which somehow made it worse. It could be any war, any time, any Billy. Bo Donaldson's version hit number 1 in June 1974. It sold over 3 million copies. Many people hated it. They thought it trivialized war, but it played everywhere that summer. Kids at the beach, at summer camp, on family road trips. Some kids had fathers or brothers who'd been to Vietnam. They understood what the song meant. Others just knew it made them sad in a way they couldn't explain. The cheerful music promised everything would be fine. The words said otherwise. Number 11. Run, Joey Run by David Geddes, 1975. This one was pure teenage tragedy in 3 minutes. The melody was dramatic, almost operatic. Geddes sang with trembling emotion, and the story was designed to devastate. Joey and his girlfriend are in love. Her father forbids them from seeing each other. They meet in secret. The father finds out. He grabs his gun. The girl calls Joey, begging him not to come. But Joey loves her. He races over. The father shoots him. The girl throws herself in front of Joey. She takes the bullet meant for him. Joey holds her as she dies. She whispers that she's glad she could save him. Then she's gone. Number 10. Shannon by Henry Gross, 1976. The song opened with gentle acoustic guitar. Gross's voice was warm and sad. He sang directly to someone named Shannon, remembering how she used to run and play, how she loved to fetch a stick from the water, how she drowned. Shannon was a dog, an Irish setter who belonged to Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys. Henry Gross wrote the song after hearing that Shannon had died. He turned it into a hit that climbed to number 6 in 1976. Kids who had dogs understood immediately. Kids who'd lost pets cried. But many kids thought Shannon was a girl, a friend, a girlfriend, a sister. They heard words like running through the backyard, eyes so bright, loved to swim, and pictured a person. When the song got to the drowning part, they were devastated.
She knows how much we really miss.
Finding out later that Shannon was a dog didn't make it better. It made it different. Some kids felt relieved. Others felt foolish for crying over a dog. But grief is grief, and the song captured it perfectly. That ache of missing something that was there every day and then suddenly wasn't. Kids who'd never lost anything learned what that felt like just by listening. Number 9. The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia by Vicki Lawrence, 1973.
That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia.
Vicki Lawrence was a comedian on The Carol Burnett Show. Then she released this murder ballad and proved she could terrify children just as effectively as she could make adults laugh.
That's the night that they hung an innocent man.
The story unfolds like a Southern Gothic novel compressed into 3 minutes. A man comes home from 2 weeks on the road looking for his best friend, Andy. His cheating wife tells him Andy's at a bar. He goes to the bar. He finds Andy's body, takes his gun, and flees. The police catch him. They execute him. And here's the twist. The wife killed Andy after he refused her advances. She let her husband die for her crime.
That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia.
The song hit number 1 in March 1973. It stayed there for 2 weeks. Kids heard a story about infidelity, murder, false accusation, and capital punishment, all wrapped in a catchy tune. The narrator insists her brother was innocent. She knows the truth, but she can't prove it. He's already dead.
That's a night that they haunted the innocent man.
The song featured a judge more interested in fishing than justice, a wife who kills her lover and frames her husband, a broken legal system, an execution. Not exactly standard radio fare, but it was everywhere. Kids repeated the line about blood on the saddle. They argued about whether the wife was evil or desperate.
That's a night that the lights went out in Georgia.
Number 8. Indiana Wants Me by R. Dean Taylor, 1970. R. Dean Taylor's voice cracked with desperation as sirens wailed in the background. The whole song sounded like a man trapped, knowing his life was about to end. The narrator is a fugitive on the run after killing a man in Indiana. Police surround him. Helicopters circle overhead. He calls the woman he loves one last time. Indiana wants him back, but he'd rather die than spend his life in prison. He tells her goodbye. The sirens get louder. The song fades out with him still surrounded, with no way out. The song reached number 5 in February 1970. Those police sirens were constant throughout, creating a sense of panic that built from the first note. Kids asked what he meant when he sang about not living inside a cell. They wanted to know if he died at the end. Parents had to explain prison, capital punishment, and why someone might choose death over capture. The song never explicitly says he dies, but the implication is clear. He's surrounded. He's not surrendering. The sirens aren't stopping. Kids understood enough to know this wasn't a happy ending. Number 7. D.O.A. by Bloodrock, 1971. Of all the death songs from the 70s, this one was the most explicit. No metaphor, no gentle euphemism. Just a car crash victim dying in agony, describing every terrible second. The song opens with a heartbeat sound effect. The narrator has been in an accident. He can't move his legs. His head's on the steering wheel. He sees his girlfriend dead beside him. The car's on fire. He smells burning flesh. The heartbeat gets slower. He realizes he's dying. He asks if he's dead. The heartbeat stops. The song peaked at number 36 in March 1971. Some radio stations refused to play it. Others edited it, but kids heard it anyway. 10 minutes long on the album, 3 minutes on the single. Both versions were graphic. Both versions featured a man describing his own death in real time. Kids who'd heard about car crashes, who'd lost people in accidents, who'd seen wrecks on the highway found the song unbearable. Kids who hadn't learned what death actually looked like. The song made it real in a way that warnings and PSAs never could. Number 6. Emma by Hot Chocolate, 1974. Errol Brown's smooth voice could make anything sound beautiful. Even this, a gentle, romantic song about a man caring for an old woman named Emma. Until you reach the end. Emma is 69 years old. She's feeble and dying. The man singing has loved her his entire life. She was his grandmother's maid. She took care of him when he was a child. She made his life worth living. She gave him everything. Now he gives back, caring for her in her final days. She dies quietly. He's left alone with his memories and his grief. The song hit number 3 in the UK and number 8 in the US in 1974. The production was lush and beautiful, strings swelling as Brown sang about Emma's goodness. Kids heard an old woman dying, loved but alone except for one person who remembered her kindness. Some kids thought it was romantic until they realized the age difference and the history. Some thought it was about his mother or her grandmother. The truth was more complicated. Emma was working class, serving a family. The child she cared for grew up and stayed with her until the end when everyone else had forgotten her.
Emma, Emily, I'm gonna write your name high.
Number 5. Wildfire by Michael Martin Murphey, 1975. The song came wrapped in Western mysticism. Drums that sounded like horses galloping, Murphy's voice telling a story that felt like a campfire tale. Kids loved it. Then they realized what it meant.
She ran calling wildfire.
A girl gets lost in a blizzard while searching for her pony, Wildfire. They both die. Years later, people claim to see them together. The girl riding her pony across the sky. The narrator knew her, still waits for her, still calls out her name, hoping she'll come back from the dead.
So by the dark of the moon I planted.
The song reached number 3 in March 1975. The ghost story elements attracted kids. The melody was hypnotic. The image of a girl and her horse frozen together in snow was haunting. But what really disturbed kids was the waiting. The man who wouldn't accept that she was gone, who kept calling out to a ghost. Kids who'd lost friends or family members recognized that feeling. The hoping, the bargaining, the moment when you forget they're dead and think you'll see them again. The song captured grief's irrationality, how love doesn't accept death even when death is obvious.
We'll be riding wildfire.
Number 4. Honey by Bobby Goldsboro, 1968.
And honey, I miss you.
Bobby Goldsboro's voice trembled with emotion as he sang about his dead wife. The song was syrupy, overwrought, and absolutely devastating to young listeners. The narrator remembers small moments. How she cried over a tree she accidentally killed. How she'd wake him up in the middle of the night when the moon was full. How she nearly destroyed his car trying to surprise him. Sweet, silly memories. Then she gets sick. One day she dies. He comes home to an empty house and cries.
And I'm being good.
The song hit number 1 in 1968 but remained a radio staple well into the 70s. Kids heard it at grocery stores and in waiting rooms. The melody was so sweet, so gentle. Then that final verse hit. The sudden shift from memories to her death. The realization that all those cute stories were from someone who no longer existed. Critics hated the song for being manipulative. Kids didn't care about manipulation. They just knew it made them cry. They imagined their own mothers dying. They pictured coming home to empty houses.
One day while I was not at home, while she was there and all alone.
Number 3. Patches by Clarence Carter, 1970. Clarence Carter's rough, soulful voice delivered one of the most heartbreaking songs of the early 70s. The story was poverty, death, and the weight of impossible responsibility placed on a child. The narrator is young Patches. His father is dying. On his deathbed, the father makes his son promise to take care of the family. Your mother and siblings need you, he says. Don't let them down. Then he dies. Patches, just a child himself, tries to shoulder a man's burden. The song doesn't say what happens next, but the desperation is obvious. He's drowning under expectations he can't meet. The song peaked at number 4 in November 1970. Kids heard a story about poverty they might not have understood. A father dying and leaving his family with nothing. A child forced to grow up instantly, to become the parent, the provider, to sacrifice his own childhood. Some kids lived this reality. They understood exactly what the song meant. Others heard it as a sad story, another tragedy on the radio, but everyone heard the weight in Carter's voice. The understanding that Patches didn't have a choice. Number 2, Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin, 1974.
The cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy.
A father too busy for his son. The boy grows up learning that work matters more than time together. Years pass. The father retires and wants to connect. Now the son is too busy. The cycle repeats. The song hit number 1 in December 1974. Kids heard a story about fathers who weren't there, about promises broken, about becoming what you feared. The silver spoon and the man in the moon became shorthand for disappointment. For kids with absent fathers, it explained their lives. For kids whose fathers were present, it was a warning about what could happen if time slipped away.
When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then.
Number 1. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot, 1976. Gordon Lightfoot's deep, somber voice narrated the true story of a ship that sank in Lake Superior on November 10, 1975. 29 men died. The song reached number 2 just months later, in August 1976.
Including some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left for
The maritime disaster unfolds with documentary precision. The ship was huge, a legend on the Great Lakes. The storm was massive. The waves were 30 feet high. At 7 p.m., the ship radioed that it was in trouble. That was the last anyone heard. When the storm cleared, the Edmund Fitzgerald was gone. All hands lost. The lake never gave up the bodies. Kids heard Lightfoot sing about the captain wiring back that they were holding their own, about the church bell ringing, about the families receiving the terrible news, about the lake being called Gitcha Gumi, a name that sounded ancient and ominous. The song made it real in a way news couldn't.
the wind and the wires made a tattletale sound.
The disaster had happened less than a year earlier. Families were still grieving. Kids understood that these weren't characters in a story. These were real men. They had names. They'd gone to work and never come home.
The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait when the gales.
For kids who lived near the Great Lakes, the song was especially powerful. They knew those waters. They understood that the lake was beautiful and deadly, that sometimes whole crews disappeared.
That big ship and true was a bone to bit sure when the gales.
The radio didn't protect you in the 1970s. Songs about death, suicide, murder, and loss played between bubblegum pop and disco. Nobody thought twice about it. Kids heard stories about miners eating their friends, soldiers dying despite promises to come home, women drowning horses, ships sinking with all hands aboard. These songs stuck in memory not because they were inappropriate, but because they told the truth. Death was real. Loss hurt. The world was sometimes cruel. The catchy melodies and pleasant voices made it bearable, but they didn't make it go away. You hummed along, and years later, you realized what you'd been singing about. Every generation has music that shapes how they see the world. For kids in the 70s, these 15 songs taught lessons that Saturday morning cartoons never covered. They learned that loved ones died, that promises got broken, that terrible things happened to good people. They learned it through 3-minute songs that played while they ate breakfast and rode in the back seat and got ready for school. The songs traumatized, yes, but they also prepared. They made grief familiar before grief arrived. When something terrible actually happened, when death stopped being abstract and became personal, these songs were already there, waiting in memory, proof that others had hurt like this before, that the pain could be put into words and melody, that you could survive it because people had been surviving it all along, long enough to write it down and sing it into the air. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more music history.